So Derek Chauvin, or Chauvin, I believe it's Chauvin, charged with murder in George Floyd case, is released on a $1 million bond. So think of what had took place. Think of the moment that it happened. And so here you have this officer is released on a $1 million bond. This was just out on October 7th, 2020. So this is by Doha Madani. So Derek Chauvin, former Minneapolis police officer, is charged, or was charged, and still is charged in the killing of George Floyd, was released on a $1 million bond on Wednesday. So Chauvin is 44 years of age and is facing murder and manslaughter charges after the video showed him kneeling on George Floyd's neck for about 8 minutes during an arrest May the 25th. So he is released Wednesday on a conditional release and is expected to appear in court in March of next year, according to his notice of release filed in court. So court records show that Chauvin, who was charged in late May and has been in custody for months, posted a non-cash bond. So Eric Nelson, an attorney of Chauvin, declined to comment to NBC News on his client's release Wednesday. So 4 officers were terminated from that department in Minneapolis and charged in George Floyd's death, which sparked the protest over racial injustice across the globe. So Chauvin is charged with second-degree murder and manslaughter and faces up to 40 years in prison if he is convicted of second-degree murder. So the other 3 officers, Thomas Lane, Tao Thao, and J. Alexander King, or Kuang, have been charged with aiding and abetting murder as well as aiding and abetting manslaughter. So it does not appear that any of the former officers have entered pleas in their cases, according to the court record. So Minneapolis officers were responding to a report of a counterfeit $20 bill being used at a local store when they encountered George Floyd, according to the criminal complaint that was filed against Chauvin. So Lane, Thomas Lane, that is, found George Floyd parked nearby, and the officer pulled his gun, ordering Floyd to get out of his car and handcuffed him, the complaint said. So a cuffed George Floyd was eventually put face down on pavement with Chauvin holding him down in his back and Thomas Lane pressing down with his leg and charging document against Chauvin, he said. So multiple videos have been released on George Floyd's arrest, with one showing him pinned down by 3 different officers near the patrol car, while a 4th stands near his head. So please, 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 I can't breathe, Floyd begged in the video caught by bystanders. So my stomach hurts, my neck hurts, please, 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 I can't breathe. He died while he was in custody that day. So Floyd's death was ruled a homicide by the Hennepin County Medical Examiner, which listed Floyd's cause of death on May 25th as cardiopulmonary arrest complicating law enforcement, subdural restraint, and a neck compression. So the county autopsy also stated other significant conditions that may have also contributed to his death, including hypertensive heart disease, fentanyl intoxication, and a recent methamphetamine use. An examination funded by Floyd's family came to a different conclusion. So the private autopsy found that the police officers pressing in his neck and body cut the blood and the airflow off from his brain, causing him to die by mechanical asphyxiation. Pathologist hired by the family said. So that's most likely what killed him. An attorney for Lane, Earl Gray, argued in court that Lane was new to the job and Chauvin was his training officer. So Gray said that Lane asked Chauvin twice whether they should roll Floyd over during the arrest and expressed concern that Floyd may be in delirium, Gray said. So the complaint against Chauvin alleged that the former officer dismissed the concern and said that's why we have him on his stomach. So Going's attorney said in court documents filed in June that his client intends to plead not guilty. The officers will argue he acted in self-defense and used reasonable authorized force to detain Floyd. It does not appear that the plea was made based on the court records. Attorneys or the officers have argued for separate trials in their cases, while prosecutors contended Friday they should be tried together in part to spare Floyd's loved ones further and unnecessary trauma. The case is being prosecuted by lawyers under Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. This is a breaking story. Please check back for updates. So it's developing, so there's still more to the story. So he's not off the hook, even though he is released, but that is a $1 million bond that was a non-cash, posted as non-cash bond. And so that is pretty much what is going down. So all of the officers actually are out. They are not being held or detained. They have to each appear in court. So we shall see how this develops. I mean, anybody that has been paying attention has seen how this thing panned out, and it just seems like there's been shooting after shooting after shooting of other innocent civilians, people who are, the most recent shooting was a young man who was in Houston, Texas, and so I'm going to show you that one. Um, and that should come up. We have so many people. It's sad. But this one was, I believe he looked like he was a football player, and at least that's what the photos, showed of him. He looked like he was a football player. I don't know if this is going to be, no, that's too far. Maybe it'll come up then. I don't know. Okay. I think this one is it, possibly. So this is, I believe, if serves me correct, this was something that just happened not too long ago. A man was killed in Houston, and don't know why that came up. So I don't know. I think right now, I know they're showing Jacob Blake, but I think there was another incident, and I was trying to locate it. This is just talking about, it's just so many black people that are getting killed by law enforcement. So let me see. There is another shooting that just happened. This one is Jacob Blake saying that he may not walk again. And so that was pretty bad. But there's another one. Okay, he was a good Samaritan. I had to find it. I didn't mind looking it up. So this is the most recent thing that I've been seeing is he was a good Samaritan and he was shot and killed by a Texas police as he broke up the domestic violence fight. And so he was actually trying to break up a domestic violence fight. And so he was shot and killed by an officer in Texas. And so this is by a gourmet Macy out of the Independent. So here he is here. You can tell he looks like he might have been a really friendly and happy kind of guy. And so it says he's a black man that was shot and killed by Texas police officer as he tried to intervene in a domestic violence incident. And so that's really sad. So here he is trying to do something good and he gets killed. So a black man who was shot and killed by Texas police as he tried to intervene in a domestic violence incident. The family of Jonathan Price say he was trying to break up a fight when he was killed outside of a gas station in Wolf City, Texas on Saturday. So Price was 31 years of age, a city employee in the town an hour outside of Dallas, reportedly had a taser used on him before the officers shot him. His mother told the news channel WFAA she rushed to the scene of the shooting when she received the call. So they wouldn't let me close to my baby. And so I just wanted to hold his hand, and they wouldn't let me do that, said Marcella Lewis. I just wanted to crawl over there towards him. So this one hurts for so many reasons. Check yourself. So it says, I'm sick. I'm heartbroken. I'm furious. Love you, JP. See you when I see you, bro. And so this is a photo I remember seeing. He looked like he was in sports. And he doesn't look, I mean, you can look at this guy and you can tell that he's not some guy that's just hanging out on the street. He looks like he has, he has his head on straight. That's what I see. This is in my opinion. He doesn't look like he's somebody you have to be afraid of. And he looks like he probably, I'm assuming he works and it says he's a city employee. He looks like a happy kind of guy. He doesn't look like a troublemaker. It doesn't appear to be that. And he so wasn't. He was trying to break up a domestic violence dispute, and here he gets killed for doing a good deed. So Miss Lewis said that, I'm assuming this is his mother, she said she was not surprised her son had tried to help out because I can just look at this guy's face. He does not look like he's a bad dude. He looks like he's somebody that's trying to do good things and that he's a friendly guy. Why would you kill somebody like this? It's ridiculous, but that's what he always did. He tried to help others. So I taught him that all the years, she told WFAA. Mr. Price was reportedly assaulted by a male when he tried to intervene in the brawl. And when police arrived, they used a taser on Price before he was shot. So witnesses, Kayla Sanders told WFAA that she was at the store across the street and heard 3 gunshots. So Philadelphia-based civil rights lawyer Lee Merritt says He has already spoken to the family about the killing, and when the police arrived, I'm told he raised his hands, attempted to explain what was going on, and they still, Mr. Merritt wrote on Facebook. So police fired tasers at him, and then when his body convulsed from the electrical current, they perceived it as a threat and shot him to death. I have no words. This is just awful. So the Texas Rangers have not confirmed Mr. Price's identity, but have placed an unidentified officer on administrative leave. Fire this man, not administrative leave. So the Rangers are probing the shooting at the request of the city's police department and routinely investigate officer involved shootings for law enforcement bodies across Texas. Everybody loves Jonathan. Everybody, black, white, Mexican, everybody. So he was a good dude. I mean, if you look at the photo, I don't even know this guy, but I can look at him and tell he's not a bad dude. You know, I mean, why would you do that? So it don't matter. He loved everybody, and they loved him. And Price's sister said this, April Lewis. So Mr. Price's family will hold a vigil for him on Monday night. And so I guess there's more. So it's just sad. I guess there's other stories that are related. But can you look at the picture? Look at this guy. This does not look like some troublemaker that's looking to start problems with folks. He does not appear that way to me, especially when you look at the photos of him. I mean, he's got a really bright smile. He looks like he's an intelligent dude. Why? So that's the question I have. I mean, the only conclusion I can come up with is lately what has been happening. There's been a lot of shootings, but they're all seeming to be of African American males and females, and mostly males. And it's females too getting, thrust to the ground and forced to the ground, handcuffed, yanked around, and now, believe it or not, we're also starting to see where other groups are starting to be threatened by law enforcement. And so, but a lot of the people that have been getting killed have been black people. I will say that a lot of them have been black. So this is sad. And now you have this guy, Derek Chauvin, who gets out, who's charged with murder. And you know what happened. You saw that video. George Floyd, he's released on this $1 million bond. I mean, this right here is just crazy, and so this poor guy, he's trying to help somebody and break up a fight, and he gets killed, tased, and then shot. And so, for doing a good deed, simply because he happens to be black, they don't even want to listen to, he had his hands raised, he was trying to explain himself. They didn't even want to hear it. So, it's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to let this video go. Right now, the people in that town are protesting, and they are not happy about any of this because they are feeling this. People who are friends of this man, who knew him personally, who knew the family, are reeling behind this. We've got to stop assuming that just because you see someone that is in an altercation that they happen to be the one that caused it. And a lot of times these shootings, when you see these shootings, the person is not even in a fight. They're just, like George Floyd, they assumed he did something. But he's dead now because of a $20 bill that was supposedly kind of. Did he deserve to die for that? No. That's crazy. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, this is just really sad. But anyway, I have no words. This is the reason why people are angry. This is the reason why you have these protests and all these shootings. The more and more you see this stuff, the more people are not in agreement with this. It's wrong. All of it is. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for listening.